Hello, everybody. I am going to talk about activity 3.5.2, Theories of Child Development, and this is for the class Early Childhood Education Principles, Semester 1. For this assignment, it wants you to write a 350 to 500 word essay, and it wants you to look at different theories of child development and then discuss how each one can be useful in developing activities in a preschool or kindergarten class. And so it's really having you look at those theories, figuring out what those theories are, and then applying them to the preschool or kindergarten age. You already in this class have created a daycare plan, come up with kind of what you would do with your daycare, different activities, how you would set it up, those sorts of things. And so this assignment kind of builds on that, but really has you look at, okay, what are those different theories? What do they say about child development? And then how can I use that in my preschool or kindergarten class? And so with this assignment, you're going to get graded on your introduction. So introducing, this is what I'm going to be talking about. This is how I'm going to develop it and add it into a class. You need to list the theories that you're going to talk about and need to pick at least 3 of them. So we'll say whichever 3 and list them out, and then briefly talk about each one. So explain what each one is about and what each one says about the development of a child. And then for each one, you need to propose some learning and developmental activities that could connect to each one of those theories. So you've discussed the theory, now you're going to start applying it. What are some activities that would help develop and help the child develop in that area that the theory is talking about? And then how are we going to incorporate those into the preschool or kindergarten classroom? And then what are some potential benefits and pitfalls of those activities, of putting those activities into play? So you can tell with this assignment, it is a bigger one. It really wants you to apply that material that you have learned about the theories instead of just reciting, this is what the theory is about, thinking about, okay, this is what the theory is about, how can I actually apply it into an early childhood classroom? So for example, if I took Piaget cognitive development, what I would want to do is I would want to discuss, I'm going to talk about Piaget cognitive development. There are the 4 stages. I could go talk briefly about the 4 stages, and I could discuss how Piaget looks at how the cognitive, the brain develops throughout childhood, and how the child learns throughout those different stages. So that gets me what the theory is and describing the theory. And then I need to think of an activity that I could add to a preschool or kindergarten classroom that would help with that cognitive development. And so I could actually talk about how pretend play is really important with Piaget's cognitive development, that imagination really helps the child learn and to develop their brains. And so the activity that I would tie into this theory is playtime, is pretend play, and how I'm going to incorporate it into a daycare. And so I could talk about for my daycare, I'm going to have different centers, and when they get there in the morning and then at the afternoon, they have center times where they can go around to the different areas. And one of those centers would be pretend play, where they can dress up and act like different characters. They can act like maybe there's a house over there and they can act like a family or a schoolroom. And so that's how I would incorporate it. And then I could talk about some potential benefits and pitfalls. Talking about a benefit would be that the children really get to explore their imagination, get to kind of be on their own and have those ideas that they want to do come, and they can play how they want. And some pitfalls is that since it's such an open play, I could have some more classroom management issues because it's not as structured. And so that's how you're going to go through for each one of them. You're talking about what the theory is, you're describing the theory, talking about activities that tie to the theory, how you're going to incorporate them, and potential benefits and pitfalls. So that's just one. I need to do 3 of them. So again, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to talk about a different type of theory. One of those theories could be a behavioral theory. I could focus on Skinner talking about rewards and punishments and how he says that children learn based on rewards and punishments that they receive or that they see other people receiving. And so then I could go into activities that tie to this theory. I could talk about when a child, I'm going to do a reward system in my classroom. And so when a child does something good, I give them a green point. And if a child does something pretty bad, I can give them a red point. There's that rewards and punishments. And so helping the child learn what is appropriate behavior and what some behaviors that we need to change. And then I could talk about how I'm going to incorporate that. I could discuss how each student gets a card that on one side's green, one side's red, or I could do popsicle sticks, or I could do it on an app or whatever it is that I want to, and that as a class we'll have these different rules and expectations, and when I see kids following it, I give them the green, and when a child isn't following it, then I could give them a red, talking about incorporating it. Potential benefits and pitfalls, I could talk about the benefits is that the children learn what kind of behaviors we want in the classroom, and then that would help them learn and be successful in the classroom. Some pitfalls could be that some children don't respond as well, or if I have a child always getting a red card, how can I help that child get more green cards, more rewards? And so that's a second one that I could do. So you're going to do 3 of those. Again, talking about what the theory is, describing it, talking about activities that tie to the theory, how you're going to incorporate it, and potential benefits and pitfalls. And then I do it with one more. And I put social cultural theory up there. It talks about how children learn based on the environments they're in. And so there I am kind of describing a little bit activities that tie to the theory. Talk about that for math, I'm going to create this really warm environment where they feel safe to ask questions. And I'm going to incorporate this into my daycare by always having this and that going on during math, kind of having a setup. And then I could talk about those potential benefits and pitfalls of it. So I'm going to do that with all 3 of them, do all steps with all 3 of them, write it out as an essay, and then hit that word requirement. And that will be your activity for 3.5.2 for early childhood education principles semester 1.